Hey guys, welcome to the Real Deal video blog. So there's something that I say a lot, and it's something that I'm going to say now, and it's this. Recovery is about a lot more than just getting sober from drugs and alcohol. That's always like the very important first step, obviously, but recovery is so much more than just sobriety. Recovery involves self-improvement, it involves being the best version of yourself, it involves building a community and being a part of something greater than yourself. It means taking a look at your character defects and making corrections where necessary. And it involves righting past wrongs and making amends. Among many, many other things, recovery is really complex and all-encompassing. It involves all areas of life and making improvements across the board. It's really a lot more than just sobriety. And one thing that I believe is especially important when it comes to recovery, if you want to be successful in recovery, is doing the next right thing. So what does doing the next right thing mean? I mean, it's kind of a buzzword around recovery circles. It's something that people kind of just say to each other, like, make sure you're doing the next right thing. And put simply, it means always putting an effort to make good moral choices. When you have the opportunity to do something that might help someone, take that opportunity and do that. And, you know, let's be real here for a minute. Addiction tends to make people do bad things. People in active addiction tend to hurt others, to lie, to steal, to cheat. These are stereotypes, and they're kind of true that addiction can be a really rough time, and it's a disease, but it's not a disease like cancer where through no fault of your own you've gotten really sick. I'm not blaming people for getting addiction, but unfortunately, addiction does tend to bring out the worst in people. And, it's not that addicts or alcoholics are bad people. Often they're really kind, sweet, sensitive souls, actually. But when they're in the midst of addiction and really in the center of things, they can do some really, really nasty stuff. And recovery involves character growth, and part of that growth means changing that. So if you continue to make the same bad choices and treat people the same way in sobriety that you did in addiction, that's a big problem. The things that you did wrong in addiction, that can be forgiven. But once you're sober and you're in control of your own life, then your choices are truly on you. Not to say that you're not responsible for the things that happen in addiction. You are responsible, and I believe that there's an obligation to make those things right. But at that point, at least the reason can be pointed to the drug and alcohol use as to why those things occurred. So I think it's really, really important to learn how to live differently, to learn how to live a better life. So if there's someone else who needs your help or who needs help in general in recovery or just out there in the world, be there to help them. And of course, mistakes will still happen. Some days you'll screw up, you'll have a bad day, someone will catch you in a bad mood, you'll do something that you regret later, and you might hurt someone. But you have the power to act on that and to make things right. You know what the right thing to do is, and if you're working through the recovery process, these things should present themselves pretty obviously, and especially if you're consulting with someone who really knows what they're talking about, like a sponsor, for example. So, you have the power to make things right, like I said, and it shouldn't be too difficult. Most of this stuff is common sense. It's not too hard to figure it out. So if you find someone's wallet, don't just pocket the money, contact them and give it back to them with all the money in there, or, do something like volunteer for a service position at a meeting, or help your neighbor carry their groceries. There's a million right things, nice things, kind things that you can do in the world. And, surprisingly, this is all kind of about helping people, but it's also all about helping yourself. It's at the core of this. People say that recovery is a selfish process, and the reason that they say that is because you have to You have to focus on yourself. You have to make sure that you're sober, that you're doing the correct things, and everything else just sort of falls into place. So it's really okay to be selfish, and even doing these things for other people can be part of that selfish process. Because if you're making bad choices and you're feeling bad about yourself, it's really easy to pick up drugs or booze. Like, if you go to sleep feeling really terrible about yourself every night, you're going to have a hard time staying sober for long. And that's half the problem with addiction. It's a cycle of feeling like crap and using and feeling like even more crap. And I'm telling you that you deserve to feel good about yourself. And not only do you deserve it, but it'll help you stay sober. So the easiest way to do that is just make choices that you feel good about. Often you don't even have to go out of your way to do stuff like this. I guarantee that you will have choices to make every single day. Choices in how you react to things, choices in how you respond to situations. So I ask you to make the right choice. Treat others with kindness and respect, and leave the world a better place than you found it. No matter who you are or what you've done wrong, you are capable of kindness and greatness. So put that potential to use and do the next right thing.